LucasFilm have gone ahead and appointed J.J. Abrams to direct Star Wars Episode 9 after Colin Trevorrow left the project due to creative differences. This choice has been extremely polarizing to say the least. Some took the news well, stating that J.J. Abrams was the correct director to cap off the sequel trilogy, but others flat out hated the idea of him returning. As I first read the news on the official Star Wars website, I felt genuinely pleased at this change. J.J. loves Star Wars and will treat Episode 9 with care, I'm sure, and it also struck me as odd that Trevorrow was the film's initial director. People actually say that he'll just make Episode 9 similar to Return of the Jedi, or he'll just rip off ideas from the original trilogy again. I completely disagree with these statements, and I believe that as a collective, we need to put more trust in JJ. His previous film for the Star Wars franchise, The Force Awakens, was criticized for having too much in common with A New Hope, but that's how audiences were hooked to begin with. In the first trailer for Episode 7, were you clawing with anticipation because of a random dude in a stormtrooper outfit that you didn't know, or those few seconds of the Millennium Falcon and the other sprinkles of iconography throughout? I think the latter. The Force Awakens needed to be a mix of the new and old, and it needed to be the bridge between both trilogies, so I understand why Abrams and Kasdan borrowed elements from the original so heavily. Anyway, my only real criticism with J.J. Abrams returning with Star Wars Episode 9 is that he is not co-writing it with Rian Johnson, also known as the director for Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Abrams is a fine directing choice, but let him and Johnson collaborate with the script. The original trilogy was a collaborative effort, with team members giving their own input and reaching out. With Abrams and Johnson having completely different visions and them being in charge of bringing these new movies to light, I feel like it would be perfect if they worked together on writing Episode 9. There is a co-writer on board with the project, but from dissecting his screenwriting credits and it not including anything Star Wars related, I think that letting Rian Johnson come back to write would be a more suitable choice. By the way, one minor point I want to touch on is the stigma towards changing directors with the Star Wars property. In all honesty, if Lucasfilm want to go with a different director for a Star Wars movie, that won't automatically ruin the film. Comparing these director mishaps to the first Star Wars film again, the latter suffered through various behind-the-scenes mishaps, but once it was released, it changed cinema forever. For the better. Changes to the crew are not inherently bad, as it merely depends on how far the original director got in production, whether the script feels like Star Wars or not, etc. Colin Trevorrow stepping away in the pre-production phase is better than the middle of principal photography, for instance. In conclusion, people shouldn't be so stressed regarding J.J. Abrams' return, as humans do evolve and learn from past criticism. If you consider The Force Awakens too similar to A New Hope, then I am willing to bet that Abrams and Lucasfilm have listened and will improve in the future. In fact, Lucasfilm have listened to audiences' reactions. Why else would they recruit Rian Johnson and make a quote, very different Star Wars movie than before with Episode 8. So to sum up, I'm excited to see what J.J. Abrams will bring to Episode 9 and how he'll close out the Star Wars sequel trilogy.